So you've got a home in Lakeland, and you know its value is one of your biggest financial assets. But actually proving that value for a sale, for a legal matter, or even just for your own records takes a lot more than a guess. So let's break down exactly how you can hire a licensed appraiser who will give you a number you can truly count on. It's the big question, right? Whether you're getting ready to sell, about to buy, or navigating something serious like settling an estate, a simple estimate from a website just won't cut it. You need a solid number, a figure that can actually stand up to scrutiny. So, how on earth do you get one?
Well, the answer really comes down to hiring a professional whose opinion carries real weight. And that's exactly why we're starting here, with why a licensed appraiser is so important. This isn't just about getting an accurate number. It's about getting a value that official institutions, we're talking banks, courts, even the IRS, will actually recognize and trust.
So, what is a home appraisal, really? Well, it's not just some quick calculation. Think of it as a formal, professional, and totally unbiased opinion of what your property is worth. And the two key phrases you got to remember are third party and state licensed. That means the person doing it is impartial and has met some seriously strict professional standards. And this is where it really hits home for you. You see, for a mortgage, a bank simply won't approve the loan without an official appraisal. In tough situations, like a divorce or an estate settlement, it provides a fair, documented value that stops arguments before they start. And if you're buying or selling, it's your number one tool to make sure you don't leave money on the table or accidentally pay way too much. At the end of the day, it's all about protecting your finances. Okay, so you're sold, you need a licensed pro. But how do you tell the real experts from the rest? That's where a little bit of verification comes in. Let's dig into how you can make sure you're hiring the real deal. Seriously, just taking a few minutes to check an appraiser's credentials before you hire them is maybe the most important step you can take. It can literally save your report from being rejected by a lender or a court, which saves you a ton of time and the headache of paying for a whole new appraisal. A top-notch appraiser really has three things going for them. First, and this is non-negotiable, they must be legally licensed to operate in Florida. Second, they need to have deep hands-on knowledge of the Lakeland and Polk County market, because real estate is incredibly local. And third, they need to have experience with your exact kind of situation. I mean, appraising for an FHA loan is a completely different ballgame than valuing a luxury home for an estate. All right, with that checklist in mind, where do you actually start your search? Let's talk about how to build a solid shortlist of potential appraisers right here in the Lakeland area. You can definitely start with online directories and review sites, but please don't stop there. Professional groups and even your realtor often have lists of trusted pros they've worked with. And, a really good sign is an established local company with a professional website that clearly spells out what they do and where they work. Now, for those of you who want a specific name to look into, our source material pointed to Eagle Home Appraisal Lakeland as a strong local option. What's interesting is their focus on the more complicated stuff, like valuations for estates, probate, divorce, and tax filings. The fact that they're state certified and handle these kinds of cases tells you they're prepared for situations that demand a higher level of proof.
Okay, so now you've got a short list. What's next? Well, it's time to interview them. And knowing exactly what to ask is going to be the key to making a decision you feel great about. This first question, it's a powerhouse. It's so efficient. In just one sentence, you're confirming their legal right to work and how deep their local experience goes. You want to hear a confident answer here, with specific years of experience, not something vague. All right, this next one is where you really drill down. You want to know if they get the subtle differences between, say, a lakefront home versus a historic house in the downtown area. An appraiser who really understands the trends and quirks of your specific little corner of Lakeland is going to give you a much, much more accurate number. Next up, let's talk logistics. This is all about managing your expectations. Whether you've got a deadline for court or a closing date breathing down your neck, you need to know their turnaround time before you commit. A real professional will be able to give you a clear, realistic timeline for getting that final report in your hands. And finally, you want to bring it full circle and talk about their specific experience again. Look, if you need an appraisal for an IRS filing, you want to hire someone who does those all the time, not somebody who's doing it for the first time. This just ensures they know all the specific rules and requirements for your type of report. Okay, you've picked your appraiser. So, what happens now? Let's quickly demystify the whole thing and walk through the process so you know exactly what to expect from beginning to end. It's usually a pretty straightforward four-step deal. It all starts with that initial consultation, where you explain what you need and get a quote. Then comes the actual on-site inspection, where they'll be measuring, taking notes, and snapping photos. After that, the real heavy lifting happens back at their office, where they dive into market data and comparable sales. And finally, you get the finished report, typically as a PDF in your email. See? It's a very methodical process. Whew, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's boil it all down into one final, super simple checklist to help you make your choice with total confidence. All right, here it is, your final game plan. Number 1, always prioritize state-certified appraisers with a ton of experience in Polk County. 2, look for someone who communicates clearly and answers your questions without hesitation. 3, ask those targeted questions about their experience and their process. And finally, if your appraisal's for a legal or tax purpose, just double check that this is an area they truly specialize in. Stick to this and you're going to be in great shape.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. Hiring a licensed appraiser isn't just about getting a number on a piece of paper. It's about getting a number that is credible, that is well supported, and that is absolutely ready to be defended if it has to be. So is yours?